4th. And okay, Guts have been on a bit of better form than FAV have, but FAV, you know, they're able to pull, obviously, some big maps and some big plays against them. You look at, obviously, the Japan League not too long ago. It was 7-5, 7-5, 7-5. Ended up totally going into FAV's favor at the end of it, 2-1. It was the SI Quil, 7-5, 7-1, 7-5. It went to Guts that time. It's just back and forth, and you kind of want that today.
You kind of want that today, indeed. And then, all right, hear me out. I'm gonna be reading out the standings, right?
All right.
If FAV win, they get 3 points.
Ba-ba-ba.
That would mean that the number 3 to the number 7 are all 2 points away from each other for the final 2 spots of the playoffs. All right.
Yeah.
If FAV lose, they're out. So.
Slightly, it's both
slightly
more dramatic, but the way you read it was less dramatic.
Yes, I mean, it's less dramatic in that case. However, we would still have a really close fight for those final 2 spots. So no matter what is going to be happening, we're going to either have 5 teams on that last play day fighting it out in between themselves for the last 2 spots, or we're going to have 4 teams to do it, and FAV today taking, well, the goodbye, au revoir, as we would say, our French production. So it is going to be a very exciting match, and it is going to be one that many of these teams will be looking at, because we have all these different head-to-heads that will be breaking a potential tie-break. So it is such a heavy-weighted match as well.
Well, let's start it off in bar and gaming. Now, if this is your first time watching Chalet, it's still heftily a learning experience. Don't worry, you'll be keeping pace with the rest of us as we still are deciphering and working out the best holds, the best plays, and the best ways to take them from each team and how they like to play rotations. In APAC, we've seen it a couple of times so far, but obviously every fresh demonstration is a new way to learn how to remonstrate people's holds, and this time we are starting on bar. I could tell you if it's their best, their worst, or their middle-list site, but I just don't have those numbers, and nobody does.
We don't indeed yet. The one thing that kind of stands out to me here, is the fact that there is no mirror. And we'd be like, oh, well, why? Why does that stand out to you? Well, I mean, we've seen very many different performances so far, and every single time mirror was available, we saw it being used onto bar, especially in that little pantry on the side, very oftenly used, of course, to basically deny the entirety of games from that one mirror window. Now, that is not going to be done with a mirror window this time, potentially with some bullet holes, maybe some punch holes. They also have frost mats underneath the windows, so Guts is going for a little bit of a different take, and it's up to us to judge whether or not that one will be on par as the mirror defense itself.
Huge angles held and played here as they open up all of these extensions. We saw the hatches inside the dining and the kitchen opened too for the potential of quick drops and rotation, a little bit of movement, and they want to keep themselves a lot bit alive. The map can be big pressure. It's a giant letter L. And that middle of it, that crux where that big corner happens, can be a beast in terms of trying to lock it off. But it might start here, just outside the kitchen. Yes, it is. Afro, hiding amongst the canopies of trees, is able to take care of Lily via the trophy, claim their own, and put it on the wall as they start their pressure.
All right, first kill coming in. That is FAV up to a good start, managing to take the man advantage early. You can see here Shin playing with that twitch, of course, checking if there was a mirror window, which is not going to be the case right there. So he's not going to be able to get much done. Maybe take care of an ADS or 2, maybe some part of the Prismas. In the meantime, however, FAV trying to get the control of that top floor will now be trying to extend towards that K9 as well. And as FAV is really worrying, or basically really focusing on getting the top floor control, that might be the right move.
Wow, Crazy Papillon's playing at the top of the staircase, waiting for somebody to swing round from piano or potentially a little bit further deep inside the entrance itself, but so far it's still just hoping somebody glimpses and glances a little bit round the corner. They have some debris that they can play around as Shin offers a bit of pressure from the opposite side, trying to isolate Papillon, but there's more people set up and ready to read inside the library. It's Light who will hear that broken just over their shoulder, has a bit of an early giveaway in terms of the alibi if it gets caught, but Afro Rotating round, trying to offer themselves a little bit more pressure from the opposite side. Two bodies ready to pinch. They're going to play and pace this to the best of their ability. Light drops the drone, has the hatch to escape if they need to. There is some cover from Aruni just around the mezzanine above the fireplace, but they're under their own pressure here too. The swing comes. Number 2 is the one that locks it off, goes for his second as Light is able to take off some of the pressure inside the library itself, tries to find the other one that hops through, drops down, has done some damage, and they know with 30 seconds, they've just got to lock off the site now.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Frostmat still in play here, and that might be coming back to harm FAV right now because they need to choose Gunfight or Frostmat. And as Light is going to be taken down right there, it's only up to Crazy Papillon now. The site has been opened up. There's 13 seconds left on that clock. They need to get the diffuser down, and as Typon is doing that right now, Crazy Papillon will notice. He has to make a move right now. He has to do something. Gets one to start it off. Manages to get himself into the bar using the rotations they created earlier on to try and find some lines of sight, but so far no joy. Moves around. In the meantime, the players have set themselves up for a perfect post-plant situation with people on the outside, so he's going to be doing the one logical thing, check if there's vertical control, but with 25 seconds he has to hurry. There's no time to waste, because otherwise it's going to be FAV running away with the first round.
Yeah, from this point onwards, with the limitations on time and the fact that you're about to hot drop into a room with a lot of people with guns pointed your way, they know where you are, and they barely let you get anywhere further. FAV won their ones and took it with confidence, punishing Guts in all of those early interchanges and exchanges. They said, hey there, you're holding this wide, okay, we're gonna take it from range.
Very well played. I must say, honestly, I really like the defensive setup that Guts has put up. A very heavy emphasis on that top floor. A lot of shields. We saw the laser gates being used. We saw the banshees being put up. Unfortunately for them, FAV was able to deal with it quite well. We're able to win those opening picks as well, which of course makes it even easier to snowball. And with that, it is bar that is instantly being swapped out right here by Guts. They are going to kitchen dining. They are instantly swapping the site. And something you might see is that the bottom floor, the basement, is still being avoided. And I think that is a very logical choice because many might discuss that it is a very good site. But on this high level of coordinated gameplay, it just doesn't seem to be working out that much as of yet. So Guts choosing to go for different sides, really good choice in my opinion.
Yeah, it's always that boil down and breakdown of ideas. When a map rework comes through and you look at that was a site that was, for a lot of teams, the most confident, was that sort of snowmobile garage, that sort of area and hold down there. Now, I guess it's the idea of, well, the take is still similar to a lot of teams. You want to get open snowmo, you want to then try and put pressure from above and see if you can lock down from fireplace. The aggression can be applied pretty strategically and consistently. On the other sites, it's flat firefights. It's a lot of mobile aggression. It's a lot of where are we going to get bit from next? What angles, what holds, where are they even burying themselves? Because you see it consistently. It's huge angles that are opened by teams at the minute. And FAV keep winning their ones. Guts might find themselves, unfortunately, slipping a little bit loose here.
And that's it. That's what we said. Especially the early stages of this map, people seem to be thinking it's a very attack-sided map, which is different compared to what we normally see. Normally, we would say, all right, new map, defense side is going to be reigning supreme. However, Chile, a little bit more balanced out, I dare to say. And well, FAV winning their ones definitely helping them, putting up that pressure onto the actual side eventually. The question now will be if they are going to be able to continuously be doing so. Make sure that they are going to be the ones to take that initiative throughout the original first half. And as FAV quickly droning out on that top floor, we'll be finding out, okay, no roamers all the way up on the top, at least until you enter the office, until you enter the bedroom. We can proceed all the way up to there.
Talk about long angles, and they're dancing dangerously with one slightly further back. Around the corner of the bedroom, they have a shield locked off, and they're studying by the wine in the office and making sure they keep themselves calm, cool, and collected. That first impact takes the wall. You can hear some ADSs being burnt just around the other side of them as all of this early pressure is coming directly towards them. They aren't leaning themselves into it as aggressively as they did before, but that attention is enough to allow Afro to pass to the opposite side and put pressure down. Papillon is the one that gets real revenge, though. Digs himself in a new hold inside the box as Typon tries to find him. Can't quite get it. Papillon with 2, and Lily puts it to a 3. There is Shin to stop that quick trade, and now it's a 4 versus 2.
I was like, oh no, you see the hand start cheering again, but he wasn't going to be able to pick up that kill, and now FAV are finding themselves in a bit of a pickle. There's just Shen and K Razor left with 45 seconds. Plenty of time to make something, well, work. It's just the fact that they do not have the manpower to just simply outrun them, because if you look at the way that Guts is playing, they're holding a lot of angles. They're just sitting by on the most important points just so they can cover every single entrance towards the site, basically making a plant for FAV impossible. SK Razor is coming up right here. We'll be able to get a kill. Shin will follow that up with a grenade. So a double kill coming through. Suddenly, it looks doable again. It is going to be Lily in a very important position, though. He's going to be whiffing a lot of the shots right here. He's going to be able to pick up the kill eventually, though. And that means the diffuser is now dropped again. Shin, however, will recover. Starts the plant. Tries to go for a bait. 7 seconds left on that clock. And Euro will come in from the side, able to pick up that final kill, and Guts going to be able to win that round and put themselves up to 1-1.
That's a fantastic positional pullback there. The two of them decided to try and take themselves up from underneath. Not entirely sure where the frag grenade kill was, but suddenly they had some pressure and they could apply it quickly, though the dying seconds of the round were closing in. The one misplay there was, I guess, mistaking only one person around Trophy and not 2. Guts Gaming, led by Papillon, leaning in to the pressure he was suffering on the top floor, obviously getting the second on Typon, I believe, right down the back of the stair set. That was dangerous, but, I mean, that could have been a kill that really swung the round the other way if it had gone the other way.
Have been heartbreaking for Guts if that would have gone FAV's way, but so far we are getting what we want. Close rounds and a back and forth. We don't want to see like a straight up 6-0. Well, I mean, the comeback then is great. The first half will be a bit boring, but then the comeback is going to be very interesting. Now, what like I personally like to see is just rounds being traded continuously. Like, you're going to be on your toes. You don't know what is happening. You don't know who's going to be the first team to break that curse and, well, manage to pick up a second round in a row. Let's hope that this game will be exactly that. Let's hope that this derby is really going to be bursting down into just continuous trades of rounds to see who is going to be able to continue their fight in a better position for the playoffs.
So the approach starts to come from underneath. So far, it's come down to a lot of aggression. That frag grenade kill was the start, and probably one of the only big pops of utility that we've actually seen hit the mark so far. It's otherwise, as I've said, boiled itself onto these big ones, these big holds from bigger ranges, and making sure that they're the first to click. But here now, as the game starts to develop, I'm curious to see if we start to see a little bit more on a reliance of gadgetry, of control. They're popping and putting pressure around onto the top here to see if they can catch the man who has the piano rotate as possibilities. It's number 2 that's going to dig in first of all, slowly and steadily, creeping their way closer to Papillon, who is well aware of the push he's suffering. The upside down hold from Shin is the bit of a cover, but you can see the other body of Mozzie's doubling up here. Typon finds Papillon behind the piano, is able to lock off the first, and Mozzie is, well, just getting out of there for now.
I was going to say, I really like the setup that Guts is going for right now, the Mutant Mozzie combo, making sure that that top floor is a little bit harder to take. However, Crazy Papillon will be falling early, and now it's only up to Yura to try and complete that roam. All on his lonesome right here. Of course, gets a bit of support. You see Light just creeping up on the stairs. You see Lily just waiting a little bit beneath, just to make sure that they have the opportunities to go for the refrag, because they're also aware FAV is going to go for this, but Typon able to come out on top on that gunfight. One member still in the library, though, and one onto those library stairs. Not going to be able to pick up the refrag. Guts are suffering.
And the suffering continues as Afro gets another, and Typon one more triple kill for Typon, and finds himself just Yura. Drops a C4 around the corner, but it does not pop the body that's not too far away. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. And Yura is able to get some revenge. Typon finally stopped, but the site is theirs. They're well aware that Mozzie is far too far away for him to be able to stop this plant going down, and Yura, well, he's aware of that too. So a slow and steady descent. The first fight is Shin. He seems to have a bit of an idea of where he is. Concerned about someone round on the 90 corner, but is instead going to go for the close swing. Almost dropped him, but almost isn't quite there. FAV, 2-1.
Got very close right there, but well played. They managed to figure out, all right, the Mozzie's in the top. Yes, we lost to Jekyll, but that's okay. Let's rush the side, lock down the 2 staircases. He could be coming down from any second now, and make sure that we find ourselves in the afterplant situation. Put the pressure down on him rather than ourselves. And that is that bottom floor. Well, which basically, like you would say, wasn't fought on the bottom floor. It was basically top floor where the battleground was being held, and they managed to get the plan afterwards. Was there even anyone on site? I'm thinking about it now. I don't think there was anyone on site. I think literally everybody was off site.
I guess my curiosity is when potentially do they rotate? That's a watch it back one, I think. Were they trying to fill the holes that had fallen on the top floor, or was it just let's leave it and fight on the top? Because, yeah, it's a site where, as I said, it's usually quite structured in the take. If you bring in the hard destruction, obviously that usually pops open first, but it's still verticality. It's still getting a hold of that big open awing space that is fireplace. With all of that soft above it, those angles become pretty trepidatious. So against a coordinated attack, you need a stacked defense.
Do you need a stacked defense indeed? And now we do see Guts Gaming going over to the 4th ball side. They've gone through them all.
Just showing them up.
They haven't won them all, but they're just showing them all up. They're here for the educational purpose as well, just like we are, trying to bring everybody the newest map. And, well, we've actually seen some great strategies on there already. For example, the bathtub, we saw a shield being placed inside of it because it's impossible to deal with from below, with, for example, a breaching charge or an impact from Zofia or Ash, which means that you have to put pressure down from the window. Now, their solution to it was put a frost mat underneath. Very good solution. Worked out pretty well. But we're not seeing that now. We do see Guts Gaming bringing their own likes of the defensive setup. And, well, it almost seemed to be working for Bot Gaming. Let's see if this time it will actually work for this top floor hold.
Creeping their way in underneath via the garage to see if there's anybody that's a bit bold. There is a single body that's currently playing around wine. It looks like they've just hopped off to blue. Malusi. Papillon has been one of the first confrontations consistently between FAV and Guts, and, well, it's gone his way one of those two times, and it didn't go Guts' way the first either. It was a very quick shutdown, so he's waiting rather than trying to strike, hoping that they come for him instead, holding off and locking down the angles as FAV.
Angle?
Yeah, very deep, very long, and repositioning themselves.
I really like what Typhon is doing there, just holding off that bathroom window, making sure no one is rotating through that. They blocked it off at the castle barricade originally. Now, not going to be the case. Shin putting up a little bit of damage. Unfortunately, no kill coming down for FAV, and grenade being eaten by an ADS really doesn't help either. But now you see the worry. This is the issue when you're on that balcony. There's 3 windows. And it's just a very claustrophobic experience right there. I think you can kind of compare it to the balcony, CCTV, for example, Clubhouse, when you have the construction, the gym window, and the CCTV window. I think it's kind of similar, just a little bit of less moving ground for the attackers.
Stacked up on Solarium and seeing if they can try and catch anybody loose. Shin doesn't quite get the first body. It's Papillon that gets Afro, and with 50 seconds left, was that a run out from underneath the garage? Either way, they're going to try and stick the smoke plant just in the middle. The cover's there and not the attention, and now we're in a post-plant situation. Out of everything that was going on, they put pressure on, read through it, and now it's a big hot firefight all across the top of this bedroom. 3 versus 2. As he swings up the solarium stairs and shines some light on the floors of the hold. Now, it's down to the one remaining body. Number 2 has a close angle, has a Jaeger to show for it, but has himself caught a little bit in a corner. There's bodies coming either side. They're going to try and stick the diffuser behind the bomb chassis. Can't get a clean shot, but knows it's being watched by somebody else. Papillon just sticks it, though. And there's JJ to get him off before he even can.
Number 2 knew he had to go for the counter there. He needed to take down the guy you see right now. Actually managed to get some shots in. As, well, smoke, of course, covering him off and making sure that defuse would stick with that 2-on-2. Very adventurous idea right there from FAV in a 4-on-4, just deciding to go for the stick in the plant and hoping that you can make the after plant work. Unfortunately, the members of Guts were a little bit quicker on the trigger here, are able to bring it back. So 2-2, very even still as we head into round number 5. And, well, now we've been everywhere. Where are they going now? It's going to be Wine yet again. The site where they had one or maybe even no one on the site originally is going to be the side that gets played. And we do see the Lion coming out. Now, that is going to be helping them, especially if Guts is going to be playing a similar kind of setup. If, again, they will be playing off the site. Get your drones in, use the E1D, and use that momentum to go for the push whilst they cannot move, or you will be aware of it.
Did we see Warden last time we were here, or is that a fresh pickup?
I think it's a fresh pickup.
Curious a little bit about it. I'm curious. Obviously, one of the things I commented on was, you know, I guess early on in the game, it didn't feel like we were seeing too much in terms of the utility push. We just saw a smoke-covered plant. Maybe it's a bit of suspicion as to how that might go. Maybe it's the plan B hold, which is potentially to hold the site. A little bit more directly, there was the full extension before where there was no bodies and no body seemingly down there. When it came down to the final throws, okay, they had already lost fights elsewhere, so there's a high chance that there were rotations that had come through. But at the same time, they decided that they want the entirety of the fight to happen away from site. Now, well, they're just going to leave Warden in and amongst the wine.
Let's hope he doesn't get too much of it before he's going to be taking those gunfights. Either way, if FAV realize that there's only one person on site again, it might be quite dangerous. Like, this site is a lot more prone to quick plants, for example. You open up Snowbow, you go for the plant in the middle of it, maybe with a smoke cover, for example. Like, you will be taking out the one and as a result, because he's going to be the one on site, and suddenly there's nothing they can do. You literally just hold it from the outside. What are you going to do? Jump out? It will be aware with the new timer. But they do decide to go for that top floor clear instead. So maybe not fully aware of what the plan of Guts is.
Lily is waiting just in trophy to see if anybody swings down, but it seems like they want to go for a bit of a flatter clear here across the top yet again. Same way they pushed before. This time they have the potential of coming up the back stairs. If all of the confidence on that cover is from a single body on Solarium windows currently, as well as the potential of a drone watch, well, Vigil is your perfect man to try and put the pressure back on them. A swing round the close angle. Mozzie is looking for a bit of aggression here, but suffers from the watch of Shin, I believe that was, over the top of the window. Number 2 opens up against Papillon, though, and that's a big blow. There's nobody close enough to offer support and stop, and well, it's a bit of a hold here on Solar for now as they just finish their continued clear of the rest of the map.
The Ash is droning, now holding off on the actual flank. Seems like they are aware of the fact that one is indeed on Solarium stairs. Might just be covering it off. Not quite sure what is going on in the comms right there. Nonetheless, both are having a little bit of a standoff, and it's going to be who's going to be making the wrong move first, or who is going to be, well, conceding first. As the rest of FAV, they have that one body advantage and now need to figure out where the remaining players are so they can decide whether or not to hit the site yet, because that decision needs to be made soon. There's only 50 seconds left on that clock. They need to be quick. And the question is, what are they going to do? What is going to be their plan of approach?
Well, Lily's realized that A could hold that forever, and that puts it in a 4 versus 4 on the site, but that gun is still a big one that you can use, and those impact potential to FAV. They haven't been able to find all the bodies that they had before, and they're leaving themselves with not a huge amount of time left to lock it off. It's still just holding angles from big ranges. Yura is the first to go down around the trench, I believe. No, it was off the back of Blue, swinging around the corner of Long and seeing if he can pop the body that was holding on to Short. The grenade rolls out to the end and catches Lily on the swing. Perfectly played and placed. And now we have the flood of FAV onto the site itself. Warden gets dropped, leaving only Light to try and stop this. They can't quite find a way around. They know it's being watched everywhere, and FAV out of nowhere find their third.
Very explosive out of nowhere, Fluke, and I really love that grenade, by the way. He cooked it, he threw it in, and he's like, all right, let's push on now. Then got surprised by the Vigil moving in, but at the moment that the gunfight started, he's got blown into oblivion. Anyway, FAV, they almost hurt from the fact that they didn't push the site when there was only one member down. They let it come down to these last 30 seconds, but they did manage to stick it with some great orchestration of their attack. They were really accurate on their movements. Everybody was covering what they needed to. They do manage to make it work. They do manage to get the round in. And right now, Guts will be choosing to go back to kitchen dining. And, well, it's going to be up to FAV to try and decide whether or not they are feeling the 4-2 split. If Guts is going to be strong enough to hold them back for at least one more time.
It's been a very good half from FAV so far, and that's, I think, for a lot of people's money, it's a bit surprising based on how their fate has been recently. And I think going up against a team that they've butted heads with so much, going up against a team where they've, you know, from the same region, both trying to achieve the same stuff here, it's good pressure. It's the good sort of environment for them to go, we know Guts. We've played against them a lot, and they know Guts is struggling, I believe, right now in the Japanese League too. So why not put the pressure on and apply some of the play styles that you've been able to make work so beautifully for you before? Guts, one more round to try and split even before your half, and so far with how back and forth it's been, it's not out of the question.
It's definitely not out of the question. FAV have a good opportunity here of taking that lead, and I've mentioned it before, if FAV manage to win, we're going to have a 5-way fight in that final day for the last 2 spots, which would just be really exciting, especially if you combine it with the championship game that we have between Cyclops and Cloud9. Literally everything is still to play for in APAC North right here, and well, as Light goes pretty low in that final round, we'll survive with about 1 HP. Literally cannot take anything right now. If Flashbang comes a little bit too close to his feet, he's going to be down. So he has to be really careful in how he's playing this right now.
Steadily droned out around the trophy stairs and seeing if there is anybody that might be able to be claimed. As said, they separate their push. They've been pre-firing themselves through a lot of the bodies of Guts, and Yura, again, in a bit of an off position, gets caught out just on the close windows from that early pressure that FAV seems to want to apply on every single window. Now, they have themselves on a big hold, and another E1D pops out, trying to lock down some of the loose players in play. They've been close twice, and that puts Light and Yura both in 2 very dangerous and trepidatious situations, especially if they're playing off-site and alone. They really don't have a huge amount other than their guns and their health to get them through, and, well, they're almost empty on one of those things.
Oh, look at that. They have it. Light got taken down. He was in the bathroom just holding, and Shin managing to win that gunfight. However, will be deciding to quickly go off as K-Razor will be able to pick up another kill yet again. Here we have the explosiveness of FAV as soon as they manage to find themselves an opening. Top floor control now has to be conceded, but Crazy Papillon deciding to go for the frags right here. He's going aggressive and manages to pick up the line. Could be a very huge pick. It's going to be getting pings out as well. C4s are being blown up, and well, Papillon knows if he's going to be able to bring this back into a 3-on-3 right here, he is going to be the hero, and as he moves in, he will be taken down. It is going to be the double of Shin, and now it's Yura low. It's JJ on site with 3 smoke canisters left. 50 seconds and a flank is all that is between FAV winning this half and Guts Gaming potentially bring it back.
I don't think he quite expected 2 bodies, but look at this. Yura is now stepping up. The pings are consistent, and he wants to try and strike yet again in the similar mantle of someone taking them by surprise. Well, that's pretty surprising. Swings round, puts pressure towards Bathroom, hoping to get one more body that's loose. It's a 2 versus 3. They're well aware now that one is above, and that leaves only one down on site, and it seems like FAV want to try and capitalize on that, but JJ has the lockdown on the door as Afro gets dropped from the back of the trophy stairs too. Suddenly, it's a 2 versus 1, and K-Razor finds himself in the middle of danger. There's swings and pre-fires from either side and either angle. There is some pings coming out to his favor, but JJ's having none of it. Lockdown Guts Gaming. 3-3 even on the half.
Beautifully played right there. It looked like it was going to FAV literally as soon as those 2 kills were coming in, but the beautiful flank from the member who was low since the very start, Yura it is, managed to pick up very important kills right there, slowing down that momentum that FAV was able to bring, and it was the right call in that moment in time. You do not want to be with 2 members on the site with 4 members of FAV storming onto you. You need to make them afraid, and taking that kill onto the Sledge, who was just about to go on his drone at the moment he did, that definitely shook him up a little bit. It made sure that their attention had to be divided, allowing JJ to get a couple of kills in as well, and eventually, of course, the round back towards Guts. And even if it looked like a fair round, it is going to Guts. And it is going to be, yet again, a 3-3. We're trading rounds left, right, and center. But now it's going to be FAV on the defense, and they choose to go to the bottom floor to Snowbow and Wine. And let's see if they are going to be able to defend this successfully, because we're yet to see that.
I think that's it as well, as so far all the fights we've seen have been pretty concentrated away from the site itself. Okay, FAV had an exceptional execute onto the site. It was blink and you missed it level of siege, but otherwise they just prepped themselves up on all relevant angles, hatches, and had themselves set for a hot drop. Otherwise, the rest of their plays have sometimes been a lot of, I guess, putting pressure elsewhere and then pulling things apart. That was the longest I think we had, at least 9 players still on the board, and they went in on that potential and plant there. And, well, FAV, what's their defense going to be like is my big curiosity here. Will they enjoy the full stretch of the map starting off? It seems so.
All right, Decayed Electroclaw is going to be holding Guts Gaming back from approaching Snowmobile. Will be located at the top floor, probably. Oh, no, actually, it's located. Okay, there you have it. It is just located in, and the grenade is going to be getting it. So that's going to be a very quick one. It's going to be opening up as well. I'm not sure if the Electroclaw, the second one that was being thrown, is going to be in time of actually denying it. In the meantime, we do see Lily has been taken out, however. Totally missed that due to the little skirmish we have over at the Snowmobile Garage.
Yeah, C4 dropped Lily, whether it was out a window or just up through the floor. Either way, it's a perfect opener there for Shin to be able to drop what is a big operator in terms of controlling those bodies along the top. Don't have any feet tracked this time round. JJ hops through over a bit of dangerous territory with the hold open, but there's somebody caught completely unaware around the back stairs. Finds the head of one more, can't quite make it click around piano, and the tune is played of, well, let's get the heck out of there, as he escapes and hops around to a trophy.
At 40 on that clock, FAV. Lost a member. Are still in it. 2 members on that roam. Drones are still going for Guts. Haven't completed their top floor clear yet, and only now we'll be deciding to go to that first floor as JJ just opening up the angles, holding down onto the fireplace stairs. There's still these roamers, still the dangerous roamers, and as the smoke gets spotted going down into blue, it is going to be a call to Guts Gaming. All right, we do have to do something now. There's about 70 seconds left on that clock. If we do not make any progress, FAV will just be walking away with this unless we manage to go for another explosive take, just like FAV was able to do themselves.
Well, here's that precious verticality I talked about earlier, and they are happy to start cracking their way through the egg of the site itself, steady underneath, forcing them into very uncomfortable situations. There's only one body that has the instant swing there onto Snowmobile as Shin is dug in, potentially suffering pressure from above. There's a little bit more damage done. That shield is dropped, which means they can't even hold it from deep. Has to trust K-Razor to have the swing on the split hold there. Yura is going to start drawing some attention to the back of blue. Pops that down to the end to make sure that nobody's there, and is going to pop a second to see, well, are they there yet? No. Still swings down, sees the feet, and is able to crawl his way down. We can see one that swung around the corner. As soon as they hit this Banshee, he knows he's getting swung on, is able to just win it and take it. And now it's Shin that gets a drop on the main door, though. It's suddenly all coming up. Guts Gaming, though. K-Razor couldn't quite have the opposite side of the angle. Concern as bodies fled in from every possible side. There's some pings. They're all inside. You're a little bit ostracized. But can you put your eyes on the prize? There's the first. Suffered immensely in the spray, though. Couldn't quite get the lock off, and light is there to shine their way to Guts Gaming. For the first time, being one step ahead.
Well played here. They managed to make the execute stick. I was a bit afraid of the amount of pressure that is coming down on Crazy Papillon being the one sole member on the outside of that breach wall. If he would have only been swung right before the actual execute started, that could have been ending very badly there. Also very well played, of course, from the man in blue, from the one who managed to get the double kill there, Yura of Guts Gaming, able to, well, basically lock down any potential pressure directly onto that breach. And with that, Guts, as you said, for the first time, a step ahead in this game. FAV will feel that. FAV will try and take it back right now. They want to make sure that they will be the ones leading.
It's also the first time a team has been able to thread 2 rounds together. Could you imagine? 2 rounds? Crazy.
Very crazy. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Who would have hoped for it?
Can they make it 3? I guess is the big question now. Is this a play towards the ability to attack onto Chalet Guts Gaming? It was a strong opener. You had all you needed, but yet again, it can boil down to, as you said, single hold, single man, single firefights that could have very much dictated and defined the round. This could have been one of them. If they'd have been able to get the swing and the control of Blue, it was so close to Yura. But he found 2, and I think that was one of those big moments. If they'd been able to win that, then that's a swing round to back up Shin, who was under pressure inside the site itself. They have a little bit of an extended angle, and there was only one of them to get rid of. Unfortunately, well, you can't get rid of JJ that easily.
Right now, taking a bit of a gunfight early on. Afro deciding to go aggressive outside of the bar window. Of course, it's not going to be the actual site, and Light knows that. He's not going to be putting too much attention to it now. The side that he is going to be doing what he's actually was tasked to do, which is take control of Lyra. Will do so with his drone, trying to find out whether or not a player will actually be there. Sees that the hatch is open, but probably doesn't care too much about it until C4 start raining through. And FAV just patiently holding on that top floor right now. You do see the Mozzie coming out. We do not see the Mute. Just the operator that Guts Gaming got to accompany Mozzie on their roam and make sure that it was going to be very hard for them to clear out. So a bit of a different strategy.
Bit of quiet is instantly broken by some more explosions off on the range and the death of K-Razor. Papillon still making sure he can find himself into the earlier opening engagements, and this puts him in the positive for his entry, which I believe is currently +1 of, well, 6 times. And now I think he's been involved in that opening confrontation. Suddenly it's starting to fall apart. JJ's gone. They lose their frag grenades, but Light gets an easy pick up there on Afro, caught unawares under a hatch that was open, whether he knew it or not. Either way, he knows it now, and that leaves just the 2 American defenders left, standing firm and trying to hold on to all of that precious, well, I guess, ground and land that they want to keep out of the hands of Guts.
It was a defender open hatch. It was part of the strategy, and it came back to bite them there. Probably didn't expect the Maverick to check it just for the sake of checking it. And now, as you said, it's just only up to Shin and Taipon. The, well, breaches are coming out. The Selmas are being used, and Taipon is trying to put some pressure down. He hopes to pick up a kill. Instead, he is going to get spotted, and the rotate around comes through that window. Fire is not going to be successful, and Shin is going to be going for that jump out. Might be getting himself spotted. You're not too worried about it, it looks like. But with 40 seconds left, with this information that is now in the hands of Guts, they surely will be trying to take Dining now.
That's it. They're putting that plant down. They realize where the bodies were, and some pre-thrown grenades and explosives are going to go over the top. Will it catch? It will, but a little too late. You can see now in this 2 versus 2, suddenly a great explosion, but they're able to find the first. Dug in on a corner they didn't expect. It's a 2 versus 1. Took an opportunity. Can they make it work? There's Light getting the drop on 1. Does he know that Lily is just on the other side? He does not. Lily is able to thread 3 rounds in a row. You can't get him up. The round is over, but finally a team has a bit of distance on the other.
There you have it. Now on the attack, Guts is starting to distance themselves, and they're only 1 round away from putting themselves up onto that match point, up onto at least 1 point extra on the board, which would be moving them, just quickly checking, up onto 8, on par with Fnatic. And of course, due to, I believe, having the head-to-head, they would be able to take the lead in that one. So as we are having a little bit of a tactical timeout, rightfully so, after, of course, 3 rounds in a row being won by Guts Gaming, FAV are thinking of a way how they can bring it back right now. And, well, what can you do? Because it starts off well. You manage to almost come back. But then again, Guts are still able to hang on to it.
It's these little moments, I guess, where they're still learning. They're learning each other. They're learning Chalet. They're learning a map that's obviously fresh to the pool and how everyone likes to hold it and where they like to play. We're seeing a lot of aggression all over the shop, and it just seems like at points it's a little bit of that flick of a coin of, are we going to get lucky with that hop out on the top floor? We know what we're giving away, which is the intel that there's only really one of us that is already known. So they'll know exactly where all of us are, and they took that pressure and applied themselves onto the point. if they'd have found a body, if they'd have found someone holding an angle there, then that would have freed up all that pressure for them because they knew that there was a single body. Flicks of the coin, unfortunately, it doesn't fall on the side. It's 50-50, and so far a couple of these exchanges recently have gone away from FAV.
Indeed have been. Good example, of course, round, I think it was 7 in blue. I need to count back, so it's hard when you have to do that. Way better at adding numbers than subtracting them. Anyway, when Yura able to pick up the double kill. So it's not really what you like to have if you are trying to go for a retake. Either way, we find ourselves back in that basement, back in Snowmobile and Wine. Even though well, we saw a very late take coming down from Guts Gaming, they were able to win it. And then the main question will be, are they going to be able to repeat that success? Or is FAV going to be playing maybe a little bit more conventional in terms of not having as many people on the roam, or, you know, trying to fall back before you do take losses?
Steady approach comes over, still with their extensions now slightly deeper. Obviously, we talked about how isolating an experience it was for them once the things around them had started to fall, most notably the roof. Yet again, we're seeing just a Soul Warden holding down the fort down at the bottom. I guess the concern is a quick read to a smoke plant, which might come through here as the pressure is instantly going to be popped towards that main snowmobile wall. Get it open, get their attention, and then probably try and get some of the other bodies that are holding and holstering themselves all over the top 2 stories.
And the most important part here is to open up on that snowmobile. And a very good kill actually coming down right there from Light. I'm not quite sure where he's playing, but the man down on top of the fireplace will be taken care of. But what you do see is that FAV instantly sends someone back up there. Number 2. I believe, yeah, on the library stairs right there, will be pushing up. But the issue now is Yura is going to be holding that. So if they do manage to find out that he's up there, that is going to be yet another free kill if he tries to rotate back down.
We start to see some of that motion come together now as they're obviously able to want to capitalize on that early pick, and you can see that a lot of the bodies of the defenders have headed their way down, but Yura is making sure they don't get the whole distance. Caught round the back, K-Razor swings up though. The Warden is watching, waiting, and able to bait one of the first plays. All the attention was drawn elsewhere. There's one more. Sweet music round the back of the piano played by Shin. Locks off Lily, locks off that approach, and instantly hightails it out of there. The pair of them deciding, well, we need to get downstairs quickly. They know that we're away, and they've punished us for that before. Yura and Light, both of them trying to take control of blue here as Papillon's offering some support on the opposite side. They want to just dig in down a corridor. And, well, that first call is going to give the game away that one is there, but you can still see those red bodies are steadily trying to filter themselves to a slightly better angle.
Last time, of course, Yura managed to find a 1v2 and he again able to pick up a couple of kills, and well, Light this time going to be the one to pick up the 2 instead. I was going to say, probably the reason they're pushing with 2 is due to the fact that last time it was a 1v2, he managed to get both kills, but you cannot consistently rely on that. So if it's a 50-50 twice, you're not going to be likely to come out on top of that one. So let's move in 2 players there to make sure that there was a better chance, and Guts push themselves up to match point. They put themselves up to 6-3 and have the opportunity of closing it out right now. And where FAV looks so good on their attack, they're just not able to get a defense together yet. So far, Guts Gaming really shining on their attack.
Yeah, they've been able to try and take control of large pockets of the map. They've been confident in their pushes, and when they want to apply that pressure, when they want to swing on, they were a little bit more unaware of the advances of FAV when they're on the defenses. They couldn't quite find that right consistent balance of, well, we set up here, we hold here. But now that they're allowed to apply their own pace to the map, now that they're allowed to apply their own pressure and say, well, this is what we want to strike next. Okay, let's pull back and pick up sticks and go somewhere else. It's their pace, and it's important that they're able to keep that metered and under their control, and do that obviously alongside that synonymous 6th member, the top center timer that keeps ticking down to eventual destruction. They're in control of that. And I guess now it's kind of the situation of, we've seen one other side, FAV, who diced and danced with the devil so many times in the dying throes of the round to get the plant down. And at 3-3 looks a little bit shakier after what we're seeing from Guts' attack so far.
Important to note is that we do see the mirror this time coming out, so FAV is bringing it. Guts Gaming were not, and well, Guts, their attempt was a fail. They weren't able to win it. Let's see if the mirror is going to be the changing factor, if that is going to be helping FAV, putting at least a round on the board right here for the defense, at least make them competitive again to go for a potential overtime situation. Whether or not Guts is going to be trying to close it off, because they have been so consistent with these opening frags and just consistently taking control of whatever is important for them and whatever is important for their strategy. They just do it by taking out everybody that's in their way, and well, that has been working really well for them.
Pressure comes onto Windows yet again. We've talked about how sometimes this little very particular fight gives you those consulate vibes, gives you those hanging on a window and hoping somebody can catch them in a rotation elsewhere sort of vibes, and it's only really that little segment, but they're still set up there. They're still suffering from the moment of, well, we don't have it entirely locked off. There comes the first swing now as they're trying to find their way through the softs that are separating them currently. Afro might be set up for the first confrontation with K-Razor off on the shoulder to offer some trade over the top of the fireplace. But it's actually Shin who gets caught underneath. Thought he had the drop on somebody else, but suddenly Light's there. And suddenly, yet again, Guts Gaming, they're driving the pace.
Yeah, not a single point of damage being done right here to any of the members of Guts. And look at the drone economy still. There's 7 drones available for the likes of Guts to try and get the information. And you can see that they have information because K-Razor is being held off. Typon then looking again into K9. So everyone seems to be very well aware of each other's their locations. And well, Guts just playing these little games a little bit better, able to get these 50-50s, you would say, consistently, even though, of course, the last one really 50-50 as he shot him in the back there. But Guts putting up the pressure. Guts are able to constantly get these entry kills, and it just helps them so much into eventually winning these rounds.
Happy on opening out his exit so he can get a bit of a big rotation done in time rather than try and dig his way through the site. Suffers slightly, potentially hit through the Selma a bit early, but no, it was a pop through the window. Maybe either way, he's up standing, and he's the one with the diffuser, so with only 30 seconds, he's got to make sure he can apply the pressure he needs to when the call comes. FAV goes down on the top of a pretty dangerous, decisive staircase. There's the lock off, and there's finally K-Razor to strike back with a double. Finds Lillian Yura on the opposite side. And number 2 bringing it back to some semblance of balance. Suddenly Guts, the diffuser's cold inside the site. JJ gets one as a bit of an exit, but with a drop that 2 of them are waiting. FAV Gaming, they aren't done yet.
There you have it. Too little time there for Guts to try and make the execute happen. Yes, they did have the pressure. They did have the man advantage. However, I am going to say it, there is still going to be that mirror window on the middle of the site. It's going to be really tough to try and challenge Bar. So, games. So you will have to go for Bar, but that is being watched by 2 people at that point in time. And if you just try and enter it through the front door, you will be taken out. And FAV now find themselves yet another round, and they have the opportunity to try and push through. And we are going to Master Bedroom Office right now. We are going to that top floor. I do see the Frost. I do see the mirror. And I'm wondering what they're going to be coming up with right here. Because if the mirrors are not being taken control of, if they're not being taken care of, they are a real issue if you're trying to execute with about 20 seconds left on the clock.
6-4, 2 more chances, Guts Gaming. The thing is, a lot of other teams and players and fans out there, they're kind of hoping for an OT. These are 2 teams that are fighting around the middle of the pack, and I'm guessing a lot of people want neither of them to walk away with the full 3. There's the shield in the bath, keep it clean. That's why they do that.
Yeah, this is what we've seen before. It's a true power position. You can challenge Solarium when they come up, but you're basically not going to be allowed to be challenged from the window beside it. People will be forced to jump in. I saw this in APAC, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to run this in my ranked games.
How'd it go?
Very, very well, actually. I managed to get a lot of kills from that position right there because it's just so hard to deal with. There's no vertical that you can use. You have to use grenades, and if you have a Jaeger that's willing to give you 1 or 2 ADSs, that is going to be a very, very powerful position. And, well, let's see how they will play it on this matchup if FAV is going to be able to get a lot of kills from that one.
Yeah, it's a stock up, that's for sure. And Well, Guts Gaming, they've been pretty successful in getting the opener on their attacks. They've been able to dig themselves into FAV quite early on, and obviously FAV have been able to stop the flow of rounds at its most precious point, because the next that gets out of their fingers gives Guts the full 3 points and the game, and they cannot afford to lose it, unfortunately. They lose Shin early. Opened up underneath. Lily on the Explore caught them on those back stairs, and well, that clears some of the pressure here for Yura and JJ and Papillon to apply themselves towards Solar.
Yeah, but that's the big issue right here. They want to push Solarium, and that is going to be meaning, oh, there's a Frostmat. That is very painful, losing your Sophia like that, and I believe that one might be aware of it. At least Lily's trying to rotate around so they can go for the pickup. Light is also there, so he will be coming back alive, but at least they're going to be aware of that positioning. But they're still going to be setting themselves up for a Solarium push. And you're going to see it. Typon is going to be using that shield. It's a very tight angle you can hold right there. It's hard to challenge because there's a shield right in front of it to get away at 3 ADSs to protect anything from happening. And if it's going to be coming down to just that shield, it's going to be almost impossible for the likes of Guts Gaming to just win that on the back of their gunfights.
That was a very clever play there. They had the Selmas go off and bounce the grenade on the corner, expecting somebody to swing it. They've pushed them into a less convenient position here, and yet again, they cover those Selmas with grenades. Don't need to cook it, but look. The flood of blue all across Solar is starting its approach across the side. The shield is still in the bathtub, and Afro is able to find light in and amongst it. Stems that flow and stems the progress of them as they try and clear their way through. Gonna stick it. Hope they can make it count, but the C4 over the corner doesn't quite catch its way through the wall. It leaves them standing, but there's a quick trade on the opposite side. A triple for JJ leaves it only to number 2. Has huge work left to do, and the angles are being covered from either side. Has to fight one before they can even put pressure on the other, but now it's 3 bodies, 3 guns, 3 different points of attention, and one very ominous beeping as the diffuser ticks its way. There is no reason that Guts have to overpeak this. It's just fed to them. Guts Gaming take the full 3 points. FAV played well, but today it's Guts' show.
They played well. They tried everything they could. But nonetheless, Guts are going to be able to take the win here today. And that does mean, unfortunately, that we will no longer see FAV being in contention for the playoffs spot. That was still potentially up for grabs. And, well, they are still going to be putting up a hell of a show next week, of course, because all the points will count towards the end of the year. And Guts Gaming going to be the ones to take the full 3 here. They are solidifying themselves currently at the top of the 4.